While I was reading the news this week, I didn't understand why there was confusion around Ubisoft's financial situation. Surely private equity buyouts with unscrupulous fools are going to hit some snags. Then I realized I was thinking about Electronic Arts, and not the other troublesome warts of the gaming industry, of which there are many. You can see how I thought of the wrong company here, right? This is the penultimate intro. Now it's time for your hosts, Rob Roberts, Jimmy Summers, and Loki, to tell you more about this story and the rest of the week's gaming news. Starting now on the show, where every gamer has a voice.
Hello, my friends out there on the internet, and welcome back to another week of the show where every gamer has a voice. It is Orange Lounge Radio. We are live once again with episode number 1069. Everybody, nice of our program for tonight, November the 16th of 2025. And yes, it is the penultimate episode of Orange Lounge Radio. And perhaps going out on episode 1069 is a bit of a choice. Next week will be OLR, the final, just so that we can actually go out on episode number 1069. Just to be clear on how that's all going to work, because numbers and LOL, I'm 12. I'm Rob Roberts, your resident 12-year-old. And joining me, as always, are my incredible co-hosts. Say hello to the one and only Dark Soccer, or Jamie Summers.
Yo.
Hello, hello. It was nice to hang IRL this week.
It absolutely was. I had a great time.
Yeah, so for the tell the listeners what we did, for those that don't know.
We went to see Clue, and y'all didn't get to go.
My favorite movie of all time. Just to be clear, my favorite movie of all time.
Up there as one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's not The Princess Bride, but it's close.
And the thing too, people assume it's because of Rocky Horror and some connection there. No, I had no idea what Rocky Horror was. My connection is childhood. I had Clue on beta. Yes, I'm that old, and that movie is that old, right? I had Clue on beta when I was 7 years old, and I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you I watched it every single day one summer when I was 7 years old, because I was just obsessed with Tim Curry's performance in that movie and how, like, just an incredible actor he is. So, you know, I always loved that man growing up. Like, Annie was one of my favorite movies, and of course he's in that. And maybe not so much It until I was older and could appreciate that role, because it was kind of scary as fuck. But like everything I saw him in, I just loved him in. And then Rocky Horror happened, and I was like, oh my, can this man do anything wrong? I don't think so.
No, he absolutely can't.
There was a recent interview with him that I saw a clip of on TikTok, and somebody was trying to ask the question, like, was there ever a love that got away? Like, they're like basically begging him to come out on camera, right? But he's maintaining a private life. And so he said, and you know, he speaks a little slower now and a little more intentionally ever since the stroke. And he says, without skipping a beat and without cracking a smile or anything, he says, Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love that man. I love him. Anyway, all right. Let's say hello. Go ahead.
He's a legend.
He is. I'm glad we got to do that. I'm also glad to hear that our local classic theater, the Crest, we have a few in town, because the Colonial, where I do a lot of shows, is a classic too. The Tower Theater, which Lady Bird made famous, does a lot of movies too. That was a fun to do a movie night. So we'll have to do that once a month or so. I think that'll be a lot of fun, depending on what they show. But you know, it seemed like they had some pretty good choices coming. They did Labyrinth earlier this month, which I missed. Addams Family Values. Whoever's picking the movies there is doing a pretty good job.
It's that lady.
Yeah.
Who came out on stage.
Yeah, when I had to go potty. So I missed most of her shtick, but yeah, no, it's fine. All right. So let's say hello to someone I didn't go on a movie date with this week, but maybe I will in the future. Say hello to Techmaster Loki.
Hello.
Do you want to go see Wicked for Good and cry together?
I mean, I'll see it. I'm just like, I don't know. It's all right. I've seen Wicked as the play, you know, but
I've never seen the stage play. I know of it. I've, you know, kind of heard
what
the soundtrack
I have
and all
learned,
that.
and I did a little bit of digging, is that a lot was taken out of the play and a lot more from the book was added back in.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Which makes me happy. That's why I'll see it.
No, pop culture. It was for as long as it previewed at the Orpheum in San Francisco, which is kind of where, I have to go to see a lot of theater. I never got preview tickets. It was always expensive and full. Anyway, comments from our chat room over twitch.tv/VOG Network, because we do tape live just about every Sunday night at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. I mean, for at least one more week, at the Voice Geeks Network, twitch.tv/VOG Network. But in all seriousness, Dark Sakura has talked about that there will be a successor show coming to OLR. More details, all the details you need to know next week, right? On that. So stay tuned for that.
Indeed so.
So you might want to make this time slot a habit. And of course, with our final show next week on 23 November, we really want you to continue to support all of our shows at the Voice Geeks Network. I'm taking the rest of the year off to rest, as I badly need to do, but I will be back as an individual contributor to the Voice Geeks Network, and I'm going to focus on like YouTube's and TikToks and sort of short video production that works a little more with as I can do them with my schedule, sort of thing. So I'm excited to continue that. So yeah, please continue to support the Voice Geeks Network, even with our show wrapping up next week. So we hope all of our listeners, past and present, will be able to join us live. Again, that's November 23rd for OLR, the final. Other comments from chat. Mish talking about Tim Curry is saying, wait, he was an Annie? Wait, who was he? I forgot. Yeah, he was Rooster. He plays Miss Hannigan's brother. Easy Street. That's the big number that Tim Curry is in. So, which interesting. They there's a whole thing online about it. They filmed and spent a lot of money on a huge production for that number, where they're literally walking down a street and there's all these things happening, which, in 1984, whenever that movie was shot, cost a lot of money, right? They scrapped the whole thing in favor of them singing it in the office, which was like a way smaller budget thing. But anyway, I think Tim Curry talks about it in the book. I know he recently released a book, and I like the audiobook is on my list of things to listen to in the car, probably on my next trip to LA. So, yeah. Let's see. Phil of 9 says, don't forget his role in Legend. Oh, I won't, but I missed that when I was a kid. I never saw, I want to say Jamie showed me that movie. So,
I will not watch it past a certain point.
Who showed me that movie? I thought it was you. Maybe you just turned around during that part or something, but I thought it was you. But
I know I have absolutely told you about it.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Tiger Claw says he was in Scary Movie 2. Yep. Home Alone 2 as well was a big infamous role.
Yeah,
anyway,
he was the concierge in Home Alone 2. Yeah.
Before we get to our kickoff topic tonight, which is a huge one, I gotta say, this is going to be the last episode that is like a quote unquote normal OLR episode, because next week we're going to open up the phones to you guys to share memories. Why do I call it phones when it's all online now? I don't know, old term, but we're going to open up Discord for you to share memories and share a lot of stories and just kind of reminisce about 23 years of the show. So we will be covering very few gaming news stories next week. I anticipate the Game Award nominees will be announced this week. We'll talk about that. I think we have to. And if a rumor we're going to get into later in the show pans out to be true next week, we will absolutely talk about that. But otherwise, I expect the gaming news will be very light next week. And we're going to make it about us, because after 23 and a half years, we fucking deserve to. So we'll be doing that. We'll still touch on a little bit of gaming next week. But I did want to mention Loki playing behind you tonight. ZZT, one of my all-time faves. It's good. Have you played ZZT recently, Loki?
No.
Is that on the Epic Game Store? They should really, if it's not on the Epic Game Store, they should really get it on there.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't think so, because I would have bought it if it was on the Epic Game Store.
Yeah, you would think. Tap into that history a little bit. So,
yeah, I mean, come on, like, what's the anniversary of ZZT by now? It's like 30,
God, that
40?
game was out, 92 or 93? Maybe late. Was it high school for me or junior high? I mean, it was early, I want to say it was early high school.
It was high school for me. Yeah. So,
yeah, I want to say like 94, 95. So that game ought to be coming up on 30 years. Yeah, if it was 95, it would be 30 years old. But I think it was 94. I think it was earlier than 90. 95 seems too late. I feel like I was playing that freshman and sophomore year of high school. But anyway.
Well, let's get like a remaster, extra.
Right? Super
extra
ZZT
texty.
for real this time.
Right?
I know they put one out, but let's say anyway. All right.
It's not the same.
let's get into our kickoff topic tonight. We have a lot of gaming news for this penultimate episode of the show. So we actually have a lot of, and some mad news, but there's a lot of good stuff. So I'm feeling really good that we have some positive things to talk about, including what I believe this story we're going to talk about here is a positive. Loki.
Yes, so Valve is releasing more hardware. They have announced a brand new Steam machine. It's like almost like the Ouya, but actually a functional device. It is a small little 6x6 cube, and it's got enough hardware to basically, or enough processing power and GPU power to run most games at 4K 60 FPS with FSR, of course.
The name that Bobby was using was the Gabecube. I love that name.
The Gabecube.
The Gabecube.
Yep, Gabecube.
Yeah.
Gabecube's good.
It needs a loading screen. Like the
it's
same.
got like
the
a cool
GameCube.
little like LED bar. Honestly, I really like the design of it. I think it's really cool because consoles are getting huge. Like a lot of the PlayStations and stuff like that are pretty large devices, and to have this like tiny little device that I could actually see that you put in that in your living room or under your TV. It's got a cool little LED thing on there that you can control different stuff. I think it's kind of cool. And then right now they're saying that it's got basically either there's two different versions you can buy, either a 512 gigabyte or 2 terabyte storage capacity version. Although I believe that that's all just standard NVMe type storage anyways, and then they have like standard SODIMMs in there for the RAM, so you can update. That's not so much the system on chip because it's very custom, but it is going to be like an AMD powered device as well. And then along with that, they have support for Steam's brand new controller that they announced as well. So there's a new Steam controller. Looks very similar as far as button layout setup to like a PlayStation controller, but it also has the little trackpads below the analog sticks. And then there's mappable buttons on the bottom as well, or triggers. And they've also got different feedback as well. Brand new magnetic thumbsticks that are supposed to be even more responsive and better than the Hall Effect sticks, so that's kind of cool. And finally, a new VR headset, the Steam Frame. So that is a brand new headset that is along the lines of, I believe they said that it's going to be able to run some games itself through like the headset, and then also, of course, do streaming. They said it has some new tech in it, of course, foveated streaming. So there's foveated rendering, which is basically where it uses eye tracking to render specifically the stuff that you're looking at a higher resolution, and everything else is kind of like, less of a resolution or more blurry, so it saves on bandwidth. Well, this is kind of a similar type of tech, but for streaming that. And they use a plug-and-play 6 gigahertz wireless adapter that's going to plug into your device as well. So pretty cool. Problem right now is we don't know any of the prices on any of this stuff. So that's the only downside. All this is expected to be out sometime early next year. So that's pretty exciting, though.
Well, there's a lot to digest with all of this, right? So first off, on the price, completely understand why they're not saying the price right now, because it's too volatile right now.
It's also
especially
a PC
in this country,
and not necessarily like a console. This is, you can use this for a PC. It's just going to...
But it's smart to give the console people something to hook up to their TV that essentially can also serve as a PC. And something about that, I realize Steam has kind of gone down this bridge before a long time ago with some different tech, and other companies have tried it. Something about this space and time that we're in right now makes this little Gabecube feel very relevant. And I'm going to be honest. My initial reaction to this thing is Microsoft is in a lot of trouble. Microsoft is in a lot of trouble. If they are serious about staying in the hardware business, if this Gabecube ends up costing less than the Xbox, the top of the line Xbox, Microsoft might as well complete their transition to software company.
Exactly, because if you think about
done.
it, like you've got a device. Let's say it is priced exactly the same as like a PlayStation 5 or a Xbox Series X or whatever. Let's just say it's the same price as that, which I think it's still going to be more than that because it's a PC. But let's just say it's the same. You have access to a library of games, which not only just a library of games, you have access to Steam. You have access to all the other PC marketplaces out there because you're not just tied down to one thing, all in a form factor that is a tiny little box. You've got a controller that feels very familiar with any other consoles out there. And the best part about that is, hey, all those Microsoft exclusives and all those Sony exclusives? Well, a lot of those seem to funnel the PC anyway, so guess what? It doesn't matter because you have both and you have everything else on top of that.
That built-in cross-buy is huge. Because let's say you have a Gabecube and you have your PC or even your Macs or your Linux running machine, you have a Steam Deck. Cross-buy isn't even a question. You buy the game, you're going to be able to play it on all of those devices. That is so smart of Steam's design. And honestly, if Microsoft does not have cross-buy as the default for everything, including third party, starting by the end of the year, they're set up for failure. It's going to make buying on this Gabecube a whole lot more compelling.
And on top of that, you can even just say, hey, look at this. Yeah, we are more expensive, but guess what? You don't have to pay monthly to use fucking online to play network play. You can just do it. It's free.
G-Drama S in chat says, even if it undercuts the Xbox Series X, Microsoft will still put out a new console to promote their studios and Game Pass. Yes, they do have software on other platforms and they have Xbox gaming on other devices and platforms, but how does that look if they can't show it on their own hardware? That's why they will always have a new console. But the problems, I get that, and they are committed to putting out a new console, but the problem is if they can't put it out at a price that's cheaper than this other box, why would anyone buy it? Because other than Microsoft diehard fanboys and fangirls and fan people, why on earth would anyone buy it? Because Steam is, and I say this as someone who's had Game Pass for a very long time, almost since the beginning. I've supported the Microsoft ecosystem for a long time. I have seen them over the last couple of years going down the wrong path. They are in trouble. Big time. And this whole report about the forced profits they have to be turning is absolutely the wrong direction. And what's going on? There is a lot of anti-Microsoft sentiment out there. A lot. And you know what it boils down to? AI. It boils down to AI. You want Copilot in your games? Fuck out of here. We don't stop shoving that shit in our faces. Sure, you can have it as a little icon, and when I want to invoke it, I will. But you've got to stop shoving that everywhere. It's more annoying than Clippy at this point. It doesn't need to be in every video game. And I think there's going to be a large population of gamers that say, you know what, especially if the Gabecube undercuts it, we're going to go here. Because if Microsoft is still putting everything out on PC, which the Gabecube will play, there are Steam Deck mods that allow you to use your Game Pass account on the Steam Deck. It's not terribly difficult. Microsoft may have a business with Game Pass, but they shot themselves in the foot with that too. Just in the last couple weeks. But the ship is sinking at Microsoft. And I'm sorry to be that gamer. I know a lot of you are fans of Microsoft. I'm rooting for them. I really am. I'm not a hater, I promise. I am just seeing bad executive decision after bad executive decision. And even the diehard Microsoft fans have to admit, take a step back. You're seeing bad decisions too. You know it. And if this is the fire Microsoft needs under their butt to make some fucking changes, then I welcome it. Because at the end of the day, I am rooting for Microsoft. I want to see them succeed. They ain't going to succeed down this path. Pop Culture says, I thought Loki was the one who does the rants. You know what? I got a few in me before the curtain falls. Now, SJ100 Matt says, I don't think it will undercut it, and I don't think it needs to. I think if it's close, then it will do well. And I think that's a huge, important thing. All of this, if that Gabecube is $1,000, forget it. Forget everything I said. Forget it. It's too expensive.
It's still a PC. It's not even too expensive at $1,000, I think, actually, because it's a PC. Because it's not just the console, and it is something that I think it's still worth that money.
If you get that, Dark Soccer gets it. The listeners get it. The average retail shopper making that decision on what to put under the holiday tree, not going to get that. They're going to see the price tags. They're going to see the games. They're not going to get that. They're not. Perception is everything. And if it's,
True,
this is a more expensive Xbox, that it's not going to work.
I still think you can make the argument, though, like, even if it's like a couple $100 more, it's like, yeah, but you're not paying for online access.
And at that point, it becomes a boutique product and a niche thing, which is still great for a lot of people. But everything I said about, Microsoft's in danger, girl, that's out the window. So what I'm saying is I reserve the right to take back everything I said because the price is that important. But also what's important, this is so important. Obviously, the tariff situation, that's why they're not naming the price, because they don't fucking know what it's going to cost, because these things are changing at a moment's notice. And I know y'all hate it when gamers get political. Too fucking bad. Politics are already affecting your video games. And that's already apparent in what's happening with some of what's happening with Microsoft pricing, but certainly what's happening with Sony's pricing, what's happening with a lot of pricing in a lot of places. And then what happens this week? Oh, JK, you know what? It turns out maybe it was a bad idea to put tariffs on bananas and coffee and meat, whatever the fuck they said. So a lot of things at the grocery store, because remember how the price of groceries was going to come down on day one? That didn't happen.
I did want to pivot real fast.
Yeah, okay,
sure. Sorry, it's just ever.
Because I got more, quickly. So you better hurry.
Okay. We'll just sprinkle in a little bit of good news. Okay. So I finally got, because I had to update stupid Epic Games Store. ZZT is on their store, and it's free.
What? Okay, that is good news. All right, rant canceled. Show over. Go play ZZT. Good night. No. Okay, what else is going to say about politics? Oh, I know. People are going to cringe that I bring this up. I don't give a fuck. I got one foot out the door. I'm just going to say it all tonight. The tariffs are completely going to be controlled by this Epstein files situation, because the whole reason that the tariffs, why the tariffs going down now? Distraction. Look over here, because the Epstein files, it's all a hoax. All that man can keep saying is it's all a hoax. If it's a hoax, and everybody just needs to keep coming back to the same point, which I can't fucking believe. Marjorie Taylor Greene, of all people, you know what? When it's right, it's right. And that woman is right on this. If there's nothing, if it's a hoax, then the file should be released. Let it be shown that it's a hoax. Let it be out there. Let everybody see it. What's the problem? But at every fucking opportunity, he's wanting to distract. And all the clues have been there. It's all lined up. What does this have to do with video games? The price of what you're going to pay for a Gabecube. That's what the Epstein files have to do with video games. Because if those come out and the house of cards starts tumbling, those tariffs are going to go away one way or another real fast. But not that I want to see that that's the ending, but unfortunately, I think we all know it's coming. That man was more involved, that the man who is on tape saying, grab them by the pussy, and the man who is, on tape making fun of, different abled people in all sorts of forms and stuff. And the man who has said all these brass things. All I can say is it's on my conscience. I didn't vote for him. Video games. But it's true. Somebody agree with me. The Epstein files have everything to do with video games right now. Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think he's going to get rid of tariffs to distract from that. He's just going to do more insane stuff. Like he's already been doing.
He just did.
The problem, though, is that regardless of whether or not any of us voted for him, we still have to deal with his bullshit.
And that's 100%. 100%. That's true. And SJ 100 Matt does have a good point. The court might also fix the tariff thing. Anyway, I'm sorry. I know a lot of you were like, why did you have to go down that road? Why did you? But I do, because this is why things don't make sense anymore. And we just don't get prices up front because nobody knows what the fuck is going to happen tomorrow and what side of the bed dear leader wakes up on and decides to, start shit somewhere on social media.
I mean, honestly, though, if anyone's paying attention to the current state of this creature, I don't know if he's going to make it through the end of next year.
Anyway, if it's a hoax, then let the people be the judge. But if you at every opportunity you're hiding it, the jig is up. Anyway, what else? What else? Yes, Valve VR.
Oh yes, and let's it's a VR. Yeah, that was cool too. Yeah.
Big rumor in that department too, right?
Yeah. Well, it would. So now the other rumor is, and it's like everyone has to just go, really, we're doing this again? But yes, we're doing it again. Apparently, November 19th is the 27th anniversary of Half-Life 1. I think we just had the anniversary of Half-Life 2. And apparently, many leakers are all saying the same thing.
Many leakers, handle it.
So many leakers that the one of which is Tyler McVicker, who was the first to leak that Half-Life Alyx was a thing. Says that there's an announcement coming. It's coming soon enough. It's going to be Half-Life 3 or Half-Life X or whatever it's going to be, but something's coming. They're not done announcing things yet.
Usually I would roll my eyes and say, whatever, just, here we go again. The only reason why I'm a little more inclined to say, maybe, is because the VR thing. VR, I don't know, and folks are probably going to disagree with me, but I feel like there have not been a lot of compelling reasons to have a VR lately in the past few years. Here and there, Luminous Arise just came out this last week. I haven't played it in VR myself, but I'm sure it's a banger in VR. It's not to say there aren't, but there hasn't been anything that has really penetrated the marketplace as the must-have VR game. And I'm sure Beat Saber. How old is Beat Saber at this point? And there's other games, but how old are they at this point? Right. So there needs
even
to be
Half-Life Alyx at this point is pretty old.
Right. There needs to be something new to breathe life into VR and make this device something you have to play this game. But here's the thing. I don't necessarily think it's Half-Life 3, even though that's what the rumors and people are saying, because for all intents and purposes, Half-Life Alyx was supposed to be Half-Life 3. And I wonder if there isn't another Half-Life spin-off game in the vein of Half-Life Alyx that is something to push the VR headset. However, granted, if they're pushing a console system of sorts too, a Half-Life 3, and maybe it's a medium. Maybe Half-Life 3 or whatever it is ends up being something that is built for flat screens, but has a VR enhancement of some sort that will make people want to have it in VR as well. It makes a really good flagship product for all of these things. And that's why I'm a little more inclined to believe the rumors this time than previously. But we'll see. Either we get to drop this whopper news on our last show, or fool me again, Gabe Newell, fool me again.
But it should be noted that they did announce 3 hardware things. Technically, they can count the 3.
Well, let's celebrate that. Good for them.
Maybe this is a brand new era of Valve where 3 is embraced. They're just they're just chanting B3, B3.
All right.
1, 2, 5. So 3.
All right. Ushering in new eras is the hot new thing on the block. All right. Let's move on and talk about how was your gaming week and the types of video games that we have been playing this week. SJ100 Matt. By the way, I'm loving the facts that SJ100 Matt's been posting on Blue Sky about the show. But SJ100 Matt says, OLR has 3 letters. OLR is ending. Game Awards happening 3 weeks from now. Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, Dark Sakura, how was your gaming week?
Really, it wasn't the best, and I'll tell you why. I still have that issue going on with my hand. Gaming really hurts. It's gotten so much worse. I I have played a lot of Survivor and Dead by Daylight when I can. Whenever I go back to Killer, I guess it's because I have my controls, most of my major controls, bound to my my mouse. It's just too much. I really can't make it through more than a couple of matches. Mm-hmm. So I've just been farming blood points as Survivor because, I mean, that's it. So anyway, I am also, though, playing a lot of Palia because I can play that. And I have picked up Date Everything. We're going to see if that happens. I also am not quite sure what I want to do for a classic game, but Shay gave me an idea to do community games night. So there may be some community games starting on Saturday on my stream. So who knows?
Fun.
But mostly it's just been Palia and the Deborah.
All right. Pirate Pound Town does say DVD streams are still fun to watch as a lurker. So, you know, I like lurking in those types of streams too. I like to watch. All right, Loki, how was your gaming week?
It was basically just Minecraft. I've been still working on getting my modded series ready to go. Also, finished and put out a new episode where I made a Minecraft Super Smelter that makes fart noises because farts are funny.
Of course,
but it's functional and it works really well. But it also is really funny because it makes lots of fart noises. 29 curated fart noises, by the way.
Lovely, love that for you. Love that journey. All right.
Yes.
Let's see. My gaming week. My gaming week was I finished off Diablo 4 Season 10 like I said I would. I finished off all the little achievements for the season and all that stuff, and that's the first time I've cleared it completely. So very proud of that. And then what did I do after that? I was like, I wonder what's going on in Diablo 3 these days. And I fired up a seasonal character there, but I didn't play that much. I didn't even get it to 70, but it's much easier to get to max level now in Diablo 3. But anyway, I digress. I did play some other stuff I'd been working on, a little bit more Dragon Quest 1 HD, but I played a little bit more of the Mortal Kombat Legacy Edition. I really wanted to finish the documentary section of that that gets into the, making of Mortal Kombat. I talked about it a little bit at length at the end of Bobby's show this week, so, you can kind of go over there and check that out. I'll just say in a nutshell, I think Digital Eclipse did the best job they could with the stuff they had. And it's a worthy thing to check out, right? Like, not only do you have a pretty great collection, and I understand Network has been having a lot of issues. I saw a patch go out this week, but I'm just keeping it real. I don't have an interest in playing this game online with strangers. So I haven't touched the online features, but I spent hours and hours on the original Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super Nintendo. And yes, I'm aware that Mortal Kombat Super Nintendo played a little differently, but when that's the version it's kind of like it's neat to kind of go back to that a little bit. They do talk about that in the documentary. They're very upfront in talking about that the Super Nintendo version was a little bit slower and sort of had the reputation for having the better graphics. So it was interesting to see the things that they weren't afraid to talk about and be a little bit critical of. The other one would be Mortal Kombat 4's reception. Like, it's pretty well acknowledged that Mortal Kombat 4 laid the groundwork for the Mortal Kombat games that came later. I maybe wish the final video, instead of being half a recap video, I maybe wish the final video had gotten a little more into maybe talking to some of the modern Mortal Kombat team members. Like, even I would have especially loved to see like younger, and I even mean like 20 and 30-year-olds working on Mortal Kombat today and what they get from the old games. I think would have been a really nice sort of footnote to the whole thing, as opposed to like it's like a half recap video. It was fine, but I just felt like that little piece was missing, because of course at the end it goes, and then Mortal Kombat 4 was released, and then we have the Game Boy games, then we have, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, then we have Mortal Kombat Annihilation. It just kind of like runs through the rest as like toddlers. But I get it. Those games are newer and they're not part of the collection, so they just have a little, a plaque, and that's it. But I would have loved to see that come full circle about the real impact that original trilogy had on the games. It's also very interesting the way they very quickly acknowledge and move on from Tobias leaving midway when he did. So that was just kind of interesting to me, as I was like, boy, they really quickly kind of mentioned that, and I understand it's not about what he did after that, but you sort of get it. Like when you're watching it, you see a whole section on, they did Mortal Kombat, the live tour, they did Mortal Kombat action figures, they did Mortal Kombat, all this. And you're kind of like, how much money Who was that making money for at the end of the day? Was it the 4 folks that created the game, the 5 that worked on the sequel, the 7 that worked on 3? How much money did Tobias ultimately make from that? And that a lot of that was, Ed Boon and his ideas. So I can see where at some point he probably got fed up and said, I'm going to go take my brain somewhere else where I can own a much larger share of the profits. And it was a gamble that unfortunately didn't work out for him because that Xbox game didn't end up starting. So it was interesting that there's a lot of like infers. I would love to see the unofficial Mortal Kombat legacy. But again, Digital Eclipse has to keep it clean and has to keep it everybody happy. And I think they did the best job they possibly could with what they have access to. Because I did notice like they have 2 mocap performers. One of them I think still works for NetherRealm. And I never realized that. Nightwolf for Sal DeVita still works there or was there. And then I never realized Sonia, specifically from 3, because it changed. She has been like an in-house Midway Williams mocap person forever. She was also Helga in Revolution X. I never connected that Sonia and her were the same person. And she played one of the cheerleaders in Super High Impact, which I barely played that game. So of course I wasn't going to catch that. But it's so, and I never realized that Richard DeVizno, I think his name is. I may be pronouncing that wrong. He played Kano in the original. I never realized he was the campy as fuck Quan Chi in the Sub-Zero mythologies. And it's so funny to see that stuff now because you're like, and I mean that in the best possible way. I love camp. So seeing that now and the FMV from like Sub-Zero mythologies, like the game is rough, but it is, if you just view it as what it is, which is high fucking camp of the CD-ROM era. I'm talking SimCity with live action news sequences spliced in, CD-ROM era. If you look at Sub-Zero mythologies as that, it's actually neat. And I never realized how much crossover, but it was a little weird to me that he being such a big part of the motion cap family, nowhere to be found other than acknowledgments and the videos that happen to have him in it. I would have tried to get an interview with him, but I'm sure they did, to Digital Eclipse's credit. So just a bummer that I'm sure other reasons that are more NetherRealm or really going back to Midway Williams control. Also, Dark Sakura, I never knew this. Did you know this? Steve Ritchie, he's all over this documentary because he's the voice in Mortal Kombat 2. I never knew he was the voice.
Yes, that's right.
I never knew that.
Yep, I knew it.
Yeah, wild.
He's done the voices when we were hanging out at a pinball party once.
Yeah, and is so iconic. The Mortal Kombat 2 had the best voiceovers of any Mortal Kombat game. Mortal Kombat 1, I think they say that Ed Boon did the voices in that. And I think Steve Ritchie did him in 3. I'm not sure. But 2, which is like the most iconic, he did the voices for that.
Yeah.
I never realized that.
Well,
but he's
as
all
Starlight
over the
points
doc.
out, you'll hear it if you go, I am the Black Knight, like from Black Knight 2000. I mean, he was also, what's his face, the head in No Fear. Mm-hmm. He did a lot of the voices in a lot of the tables, but yeah, he did a lot of voices for Midway.
You know who else is all over this documentary? Is they have a few podcast folks and folks that comment on pop, video game culture, just because they speak like what the community was at the time, and I saw this commercial on TV, and just to try to like get that perspective, sort of thing. One of those commenters, Cliffy B. Mm-hmm. You remember him? He was the guy that did Gears of War, right? Now, all I'm gonna say is, you may remember, go back to the episode where the very first Karateka Gold Master Series game. I know Mortal Kombat isn't an official Gold Master Series. Go back to the Karateka. I said, Ed Boon is randomly interviewed here. I bet they were getting recordings of him for a Mortal Kombat collection and asked him a few questions here. So now we've got Cliffy B in this. So I wonder, I actually don't think it's Gears of War. I wonder if a Jazz Jackrabbit collection is coming, or specifically, and I would love the shit out of this. And if they're not doing it, this is a reasonable one. I would love to see them do an Apogee, early Apogee collection. Holy fuck.
That would be amazing.
Commander Keen, Jazz Jackrabbit, Jill of the Jungle, a collection with that. I would love that. And I think there's a lot of people that really missed that arrogance, because they could even get into the fact that like BBSs were the reasons why those games were huge. And I think there are so many people today that have no idea what the fuck a BBS even is. Like before the internet.
That'd be cool. Like if they had like a little like a BBS simulator. Like here's what it's like to be on a.
They know what a BBL is.
Okay, BravoCon is a different podcast, Star Sakura. Okay, but anyway, comments in chat. Saikun says, "What the hell is Cliffy B up to now?" Anyway, good to see you, by the way. I think he's more like an industry not a commentator. The people you bring in to, what's the word? It's an easy word. You bring them in to tell you what you're doing wrong. Collaborator, not critic. Oh my God.
Feedback.
Why can't I think consultant? My God, why is that word escaping me? Consultant. I think he's a consultant in the industry now, pretty much. So, but that's my little, and I don't know if anyone from Digital Eclipse actually listens to this show, but if that idea wasn't on your radar, God, I hope it is. Because that, like an Apogee, or even, I think it might be asking a lot to get all of those games in one collection. So even if it is just a Jazz Jackrabbit or something that like gets into the BBS era, how those things are, I would eat that shit up. I'd be so into that. So anyway, but Digital's been doing great. They've been doing great work with these collections and museums and stuff. And I do hope they are financially motivated by the buyers to do more of it. Because I see a lot of people are like, I'm not buying it because it's digital only. I think they did finally release a retail version. They're going to. But anyway. All right, one more game I got to talk about. Sorry. But I did play also Luminous Arise. Came out on PS5. I picked it up on PS5. It's also out on Steam. And I played it. And it's so good. I can't believe I'm going to use this term. It's reheating the nachos of Tetris Effect. But here's the thing. I never understood when we talked about reheating the nachos, and I'm borrowing that from what everybody said about Mayhem, the Lady Gaga album. Oh, she's reheating her nachos, and I heard it again this week when the new Robin single came out, which is so fucking good, by the way, Dopamine. But it was like, oh, there goes Robin reheating her nachos, and I'm like, what? Nachos are fucking good, and like usually when Lady Gaga was putting new stuff out, everybody would go, it's good, but it's not like her first album. It's not like the Fame Monster. It's not like Born. And so like when she goes back and does something a little more reminiscent of that era, now people are like, well, she's just reheating her nachos. That's what you fucking wanted. All that to say, yes, Luminous Arise is just a different puzzle game. I don't even want to say shoehorned. I feel like that's a negative term, but it's wrapped in the skin of Tetris Effect. And some are going to say, it's just reheating Tetris Effect's nachos. Who fucking cares? The game is incredible.
Reheated nachos are still good.
That's right. Nachos are fucking good. If you say that term, I'm going to slap your hand if you touch my nachos if we're eating at Chili's. I'm going to slap your damn hand. You do not get to use that term as a negative. It's fine. I'm loving Luminous Arise. I think the music's pretty good. The visuals are really, I mean, they're almost like I said about the demo review, they're almost a little distracting sometimes. But I will say this. They did a very good job on the accessibility of that sort. There's a slider for the visual effects. There's a slider for the random zoom ins and outs. There's a slider for this. There's a slider for that. So like they made it very accessible where like if Luminous is going to give you, this is hard on my eyes, or even, I could possibly have a medical incident because of this game. They gave you complete control over all that stuff. And they built Bobby Blackwolf mode into it. They said, here's a control so that you don't lose the game when you get to the top, or the pieces don't even fucking fall. Like they built really easy accessibility into it that the demo did not represent. So I would say that those sorts of features were really well done. So Seeger's in chat saying it does not rise to the levels of Electronic Symphony in terms of music quality, but it's still a really good game. I love it for what it is. I feel like the music thing is just always going to be a debate that really relies on personal tastes a lot. And I think as long as the music is good, like, again, going back to the Lady Gaga example, Lady Gaga is allowed to have multiple albums that are very good and that I will listen to regularly. And similarly, Luminous and, Mizuguchi are allowed to make multiple games that are very good that I want to go back and play regularly, and just add Luminous Arise into that equation. I will say also quickly, they have a brand new mechanic. They have a bless you. There's a brand new mechanic. It's similarly, again, it's the nachos from Tetris effect. So it's hitting the L2 to like freeze time for a little bit. But this time in Luminous, they call it a burst mechanic. And it's really satisfying the way it kind of moves the other pieces around. And then there's like a mode in the game where like you have these like, this mode is giant pieces that you have to move around. This mode is nothing but burst. They did a lot of like little fun modes for the game to try to mix it up a little bit, but at the end of the day, the game is strongest when you're just playing the game for what it's worth. So
I was watching Bear Debonair play it last night.
Yeah, what'd you think?
It's a lot busier than what I would have wanted.
Yeah,
but it looks pretty fun.
Yeah, but now that you know there's sliders where you can turn that busyness down, hopefully it makes it a little more appealing. So. Because I was a little bit worried about that after the demo, but then when I like actually opened the game and I was like, oh shit, they got tons of sliders in this game for the different effects and stuff. I was like, okay, they did that right. So good for them. Good for them. So anyway, if you're a puzzle game fan, highly recommend Luminous Arise. If you've never jumped into the series, I don't know if that demo is still available. But I'm pretty sure there's a demo. There's got to be like an online version of that game at some point. I check it out to see if you're into it. I love Luminous as a puzzle. If Miyazaguchi created that game because he couldn't port Tetris the first time the way he wanted to, I think if he created something to be up there on the level with Tetris, I think he's done a damn good job. I think it's hard to put anything on the same level as Tetris, but he's up there. He's in that conversation. Luminous is absolutely one of the all-time puzzle great games and absolutely worth your time. Meteos next, please. Thank you. Because I fucking loved Meteos. I want to see that game back. I don't know how they'll do it when there isn't but there is a touchscreen. Is there a touchscreen at the Switch too? No, they got rid of that, didn't they? I don't remember. So I don't know how they do Meteos. There was a version on Xbox 360 that used controller. I think you would have to keyboard mouse it. Maybe there's a way. Okay, Seeger says it's still touchscreen. So, okay, I didn't know. Well, how many games actually use it? So I would love to see a Meteos that's like keyboard mouse or touchscreen on Switch 2, or Switch 2 has that mouse thing. I would love to see a Meteos game that uses the mouse. That would make me very, 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 very happy. So anyway, that's it. I've gone on long enough, but Luminous is really one of the all-time great puzzle games. So it's really good to see a new entry in it this week. Yeah. All right, let's get into some news. Loki, what's going on in the news?
Ubisoft stuff. So there was a little bit of panic because Ubisoft had delayed their upcoming quarterly earnings report. Basically saying, and they also halted their trading because of it. It says Ubisoft announced the postponement and release of their first half of fiscal year 2025-2026. Ubisoft has requested Euronext to halt trading of its shares and its bonds, and from the market opening of November 14th until the publication of its first half 2025-2026 results in the coming days. Ubisoft will inform the market of the date at which trading can restart, and they weren't really sure what the reason was for it. People speculated a buyout or something like that, but apparently it's just, according to the CFO, they just need more time. It says, hello everyone, I wanted to let you know that we are taking extra time to finalize the closing of the semester, and as a result, we will publish our first half earnings results in the coming days instead of tonight. Due to legal regulation, we cannot share more information with you at this time. Okay, maybe there is something else with that. To limit unnecessary speculation and market volatility during this short delay, we've asked Euronext to suspend trading of our stock until the results are announced. So
SSJ 100 Matt with the perfect comment in our chat saying this could be a lot of nothing or a whole lot of something. Yeah, that's kind of...
that covers the spectrum. Yeah.
This might maybe possibly be something potentially that could be big, or it might be little.
That's just corporate speak.
It might be big, or it might be a nothing burger, a big nothing burger.
Obviously, when I first read this, I'm going to be honest, my initial reaction was like, look, if Yves Guillemot's last day is also my last day, you're welcome, industry. You're welcome.
Thank you, game industry.
Thank you, game industry. Good night. Right?
We have brought you the Half-Life 3. We have gotten rid of the Yves Guillemot. Thank us.
But I'm not getting my hopes up to that extent because part of me is kind of like, are they going to also get acquired by one of those fucking companies that just comes in to just shit the bed with everything and lay people off and just like take a company
to the Saudis?
Yeah, I that's what I'm worried about at the end of the day, is that it's just going to be one of those types of information. So
I don't know. I find myself playing fewer and fewer Ubisoft games. Well, like
I play one.
I was gonna say I can't play any at the moment right now because it's been a long time. I think the last Ubisoft game I played was maybe Trackmania.
I keep wanting to buy a Just Dance game so I have some exercise stuff, and then I'm like, I don't know.
I won one, but I still play Avatar because honestly, I think it's the best thing that they've put out, and it has remained updated. They've actually been taking good care of the player base, so I've kept playing it.
Just buy a used copy.
That's what I was like. Maybe I'll go like look for an old Just Dance on Switch 1 because Switch 2 will play Switch 1 stuff. So go find an old version and buy that.
They're not making any more money. Technically, if you want to think about it, like they're not really making any money anyways when you buy it at retail because technically that they've already been paid at that point. I don't know. Whatever. It's such a small drop in the bucket. I get it. You know, but I'm not buying their Assassin's Creed games because I just don't like it, and everything else they're doing is just not good. So, whatever.
Well, it's like I said, the only thing good that they've put out at all has been the Avatar game.
STO 100 Matt says, or Rob, you can just dance. Jazz hands. You know what? Actually, okay, funny you say that. You ready for another tangent? I fell down a rabbit hole on TikTok the other night, and I got introduced to, I think it was called immersive workout videos. I don't know if you've seen these, but I swear to God, it's somebody took the idea for WarioWare and turned it into a workout video. And what I mean is, like, it'll come up and it'll say, crank or something like that. So you put your hand up in the air and you do this. And then the YouTube video switches to an oven going on and off or a dial going left and right as you do it. And then it'll be like lift and like do lifts like this. And then the YouTube switches to you're lifting a very large thing up in the air, like a pig, up and down and up and down. It's really funny. And when I was watching this, I was like, this is what Nintendo should be doing for the next WarioWare game. This immersive workout thing, this is 100% what the next WarioWare game. Can you... I'm sorry. I'm dropping all the bombs on my way out. I'm telling you, Nintendo, you are leaving money on the table if you do not merge the icon that is Wario and a fitness game. Can you imagine how fucking funny Wario and pals would be in a gym type of setting with this whole like immersive workout trend, like actually being in a WarioWare type of game? It would be incredible.
That would do it.
I would love that.
It took gamifying workouts to get a lot of people, up and working.
That's kind of what I'm doing now. When you think about like Pikmin and Pokemon and Ingress, like that's kind of why I fell down that. I don't talk about it every week during my gaming week, but believe I'm still playing the shit out of those games. That's why I don't play a lot of the other stuff. So, yeah.
Well, it's kind of why I was going to see if you ever, I had asked before if you ever wanted to go walking together because I want to try Pikmin out. I just don't want to do it by myself.
Oh, yeah, let's go. Next time before.
I'm slow as hell with my hobbit legs.
The only thing that fucking sucks is that now it gets dark so early. So it's like, and I'm not walking in the morning. So it's like so dark, right? So it has to be like a weekend basically, or, a day off.
That works. Well, you could also, Rob, you could also join my adult ballet class.
I don't think that's the right fit for me. You get your hobby.
We need more guys in ballet. We need more guys in ballet.
Guys thinner than me and better in shape. Yeah, it's
Rob. I do ballet, and I am really not the ballet body.
It's all good. No, and
I'll just get Loki to join me. Loki, you'll do it, right?
I can just recognize not everything is for me, and that's okay. Immersive workouts, that's for me. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on and talk about the Sony State of Play that occurred this week. So Sony State of Play, it was announced in advance. It was going to be Japan focused. So of course, a lot of people said, oh, does that mean there's going to be a new Kingdom Hearts update or a Final Fantasy 17 announcement? And as it turns out, no. So what did we get at the Sony State of
Womp
Play?
womp.
We got a new trailer for Dragon Quest VII Reimagined that's going to come out on February 5th, 2026. We got an update on In Kobini, One Store, Many Stories. It is a 1990s Japanese convenience store simulation. It's coming out April 2026.
Okay, cool.
Coffee Talk Tokyo. That's that indie game, the Coffee Talk games. They're making one that's Japan-centric. That's going to come out on March 5th. Broken Lore Unfollow and Broken Lore Ascend. I must admit, I don't know much about these games. They're horror games, but they definitely look scary. And I liked that one of the themes was like, we're going to go to the top of the tower to do a social media video, and something up there is going to try to kill us. I got to look more into this series because I feel like I might be into these actually. So what do you all chat? Should I be playing Broken Lore? Anyway, Broken Lore Unfollow and Broken Lore Ascend are coming next year. In fact, Unfollow is January 16th. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly Remake. They spent a bit of time on that. That is coming out March 12th of 2026. Dynasty Warriors Origins. That was already released, but this is about DLC that's coming early next year. Gran Turismo 7, also getting DLC, including 24-hour races. I don't know if that like literally means you're going to be playing your PlayStation for 24 hours, but that could be very interesting. I would assume you could save as it goes, but we'll see. Motion Wreck. It's an indie game where you record your movements and then you play them back at different parts of the stage. Interesting little kind of puzzly mechanic. Spring 2026 for that. Wandering Sword, which was originally released on Steam, but now it's coming to PlayStation 5 in May of next year. No Sleep for Kaname Date from the AI The Somnium Files is coming out for Switch, Switch 2, and PC. Tokyo Extreme Racer. It's been 20 years since we've had a Tokyo Extreme Racer game, and that's coming out. DLC for Once Upon a Katamari, but it's music packs and Neo remixes, not stages.
That's all they've been doing is just music packs.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Pac-Man World 2 is getting Sonic the Hedgehog DLC. It's out. They shadow dropped it. Digimon Story Time Stranger it gets episode pack DLC, episode pack 1. Super Robot Wars Y has DLC coming as well. Monster Hunter Wilds getting another title update on December 16th. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds getting Sega DLC and SpongeBob SquarePants DLC. Super Monkey Ball characters coming on January 2026. Tangle and Whisper from the Sonic the Hedgehog comic series coming in February 2026. Blaze Blue Entropy Effect X. It's a roguelike game, but you play as Blaze Blue characters. Nevergrave, The Witch and the Curse. That game looked really cool to me. I did watch this live, by the way. That game looked really cool to me. It's a Metroidvania type of game. It's out March next year. There's a lot of games they announced. I gotta skip ahead a little bit here. Octopath Traveler 0, they got a new trailer for that. Big update on Marvel Fighting Souls. A deep dive on Spider-Man and Ghost Rider were shown there. And a closed beta coming December 5th through 7th. Elden Ring Night Rain, a game I've seen Alan playing a lot of lately, is having its first DLC, The Forsaken Hollows, coming out December 4th. New bosses, all that good stuff. And Sony is bringing out a new monitor, but it's only going to be released in Japan. It's a 27-inch monitor with a 1440p screen. And lastly, the big announcement, a PlayStation 5 digital Japanese-only edition. So taking a page from Nintendo's playbook, releasing a console that is only available for Japan and is, Japanese language restricted and all that good stuff. $355 or 55,000
Ain't gonna stop
yen.
people from importing.
No, of course not. But it's also, obviously, this is a counterplay to the tariff situation. I did talk about this on social media, and somebody brought up it also could have to do with how the price of the yen is kind of doing overall, and perhaps why Sony's making a strategy like this. I find it very interesting that Nintendo and Sony are making similar moves, to be quite honest. So interesting. Mike Def says the Witch game was made by Pocket Pair of Palworld fame. I didn't catch that. The game looked good. So at least Metroidvania is something that's been copied a ton of times. So Palworld can copy that, no problem.
Yeah. No one will sue them over that.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Dark Sakura, what do you have for us?
Oh, just more shenanigans. So, and in fact, this is kind of something that I think a lot of people have already seen coming. But the Funko Pop company, the one that gives us all those weird looking figures that some of us are actually oddly attracted to, has they revealed in their last quarterly earnings report that they're in trouble. They in trouble, girl. Really big concern for the next fiscal year. Because their loans are coming due, they are well in the hole for $241 million. And as it stands right now, though, they did amend their credit agreement with JP Morgan Chase in July to waive some of the requirements to get time. But they're not really going to be able to pay out everyone they owe by the end of the next 12 months unless they do some pretty big changes. Their CEO, Josh Simon, basically said during their earnings call, I'm just going to read this verbatim. I want to reiterate the sense of urgency and opportunity around our make culture pop strategy, executing across the intersection of culture, creativity, and commerce. In the short term, I'm looking to maintain the moment that they previously discussed. So a lot more, corporate talk happening.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that sort of like is it's kind of funny to me, not necessarily funny, haha, is that he's saying that as far as the company have existing for the last 27 years, they want to leverage that legacy they have and the relationship with the community to increase this, quote, global world of entertainment and pop culture fandom. With the increasing global world. So they're saying, oh, we have opportunities. We can do this. And it's not necessarily more that it's has to do with losing licenses or how oversaturated the markets become. But this is also going back to the fucking tariffs. A lot of toys are made overseas. But one thing that Funko has found some success in that, honestly enough, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't do this a lot earlier, is blind boxes, the mystery boxes. I mean, look at how the Labubus are doing. There's a Labubu vending machine at the movie theater.
Those Pop Marts are popping the fuck off.
I bought my first one, Rob.
That's a you problem.
No, it's not. It's not like a Labubu one. It's one of the other Pop Mart ones, but it's the Disney ones, and I have a Daisy Duck.
Alan's not into Labubu specifically, but like a lot of those, like the other types of stuff they sell at Pop Mart and the blind boxes, he's into that stuff. And
But I like the monsters. I want one. I only want one.
One day there will be a set where I go, I want that. So we'll,
every time I see the
I have the Demu Daisy. That's the one, Sia Tabiri.
It's just where the wild things are. That's all I see it as. Like they're making merch for where the wild things are.
I think the Demus are cuter than the monsters. But anyway, but back to this. We're either going to have a more tailored market, a lot more blind boxes, or more landfills.
Yeah, I was giggling at SSJ 100 Matt's comment in chat saying I thought they were in trouble when they were burying Funkos in the desert like ET. And I was just thinking about like the parallels with Atari and when Atari and the game industry crashed in the 80s. It was like, those things were everywhere. The games, and it's not a complete parallel because obviously there were like anybody could make an Atari game at that point, and there's a lot of shovelware and stuff like that. But I also feel like with Funko Pops, they're not special anymore. Like it used to be like a niche thing you would find in like a corner of a Hot Topic, but now it's like they're fucking everywhere, and I feel like it's just not special like it was in the beginning. I think
that was their point, is that they wanted it to hit everywhere.
I don't know if that was the best strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, I I have a decent number of them. I've also come into some cheap, and I have thankfully had friends who have sent me like one of the big ones that I really like. And I don't know why I sent it to you, Rob. I don't know if you can show these on stream, but these are the limits of the Funko Pops that I have, not counting all my Mass Effect ones that are on a different shelf. But that's literally all that I have.
I have to do this funky, but I can get it. It just takes me a minute.
It's not a big deal. If not, I can put it somewhere else. But I it's just a demonstration, you know. And the other thing too is that they really fucked up with losing the license for Dead by Daylight, because I thought that the Funko Pop ones would have been a lot cuter than the U2s. Although that has not stopped me from getting the Legion and the Meg. And if they do a pig, I'll get pig. And I have a Jeff the Shark.
I think I figured out how to do this. Hold on.
Okay.
Just again for the live folks, for the folks on the podcast feed, you have to explain this a little bit. But we're seeing a large wall of Funko Pops pictured with a door with an ace flag hanging off of it. But there's some very large Funko Pops here. Yeah.
Yeah, I have like a Unicron, and I have a Retzko with the chainsaw, and I have like just the ones that I get are like the ones I'm super interested in. And yeah, I have Unicron Spike. And then those are like my Marvel ones up there. And actually not all my Marvel ones, but I have like my Hanukkah Donald Duck. And, you know, just some different gaming ones. And like, I don't often want all the same ones all the time. But it's just the ones that I like or ones I look into. And in fact, I actually have like a few extra Nightcrawlers and an extra Lydia Dietz. And I just give those away. I actually have a bunch of the Supernatural ones too that I am finding a new home for. So
I only have a handful of the Pop dolls. Like, you know, I have like a random Mass Effect or Overwatch one here and there, and then I have some drag queen
the Golden
ones.
Girls.
I have the Golden Girls. And I have drag queen ones. Because the Golden Girls were the game specifically.
Well, I have a Britney Spears and a Whitney Houston as well.
But I'm told my Trixie Mattel doll is apparently worth some money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Supernatural ones, some of the ones I have are worth some money, like a couple of my Castiels and my Crowley. Okay, Ranma. I'll think of something. But they're kind of worth some money? Question mark in Terabang. But back to the thing. It's like, the ones that that's like the extent I go with mine. However, I know people, you're familiar with Polyester, right?
Yeah, streamer on Twitch, right?
Yeah, Dead by Daylight, Fog Whisperer. Whenever he's live, there are walls of illuminated cabinets of pop figures behind him. And I know people who are worse than that. I mean, or better, maybe? Question mark. But yeah, there's just so many collectors out there that would be really surprised by this, but the fact is that they're getting ridiculous. Like, I was actually going to order one of the ones for the pig, the Saw ones, and it's either Kramer, which is the normal one, or there's like a special, like 1 in 6 is the pig mask. And if you just go to directly buy the pig mask one, they're charging, you know, $70 for it. Or more. And if you go just to get the John Kramer one, it's still like almost $20. So it's just, it's ridiculous, you know. And then there's such a disparity because then you go into like, say, GameStop or something, and they do like the BOGOs for the pop figures, or like they're marked down, or I find them at Ross all the time.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought to check there, but that makes a lot of sense.
That's also where I go to look for Transformers for Dan.
All right. Well, let's move on. We still have some ground to cover, and let's get to this, Loki. I find this interesting.
Yeah, it's like I don't even know if I was looking forward to a Fallout 4 10th anniversary edition, which is funny because I think they just did a Fallout 4 remaster not that long ago, or some sort of extra edition. I think that just came out because I remember going to play Fallout 4 again, but I was like, oh, this breaks all the modding stuff. And so now they have, yet another Fallout 4 version, the Anniversary Edition, and it came out, and it's supposed to fix a few issues, but in usual Bethesda fashion, they fucked it all up because it's what they do. So apparently they had some issue. Well, mainly I think the main reason, the whole point of them putting this out, so they can shove that fucking creation part into Fallout 4 so they could sell their own mods and DLC. So that's in there, but it's also breaking save games. It's also asking you to install the extra DLC while you already have the DLC installed. It is doing a lot of things. They also complicated the whole launch of this by basically saying, here's a chart. Here's a chart for all the game versions that you can buy. And, you know, you need the chart so that you know what you're getting. And that's annoying. But at the very least, they're going to be patching it. Unfortunately, the patches to fix a lot of these issues aren't going to be coming out between... some of them aren't coming out until December. But right now, they are hot-fixing the stability problems with Xbox One and PlayStation 4, fixing an issue causing creations that rely on DLC not to work, and fixing an issue causing DLCs to become uninstalled after updating the game on PlayStation. And yeah, that sucks. Why do you keep breaking things? Like, maybe design a new engine or use a current engine that people have instead of shoehorning this thing that's been around for longer than 10 years. A lot longer than 10 years with the Source stuff.
Yeah, not a great look on this one. It just makes it seem kind of rushed, right? So,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Is it really needed? Like, I mean, if it's just putting the creation stuff in there and doing some hot fixes, like, just patch the game if you want to do hot fixes. But really, all they're trying to do is make some extra money. Because, you may remember, Bethesda is owned by Microsoft. And Microsoft need be profitable. Because, 30%. Got to shove that 30% into Fallout 4. Got to make them monies.
All right. Let's move on. I forgot that's because Bethesda's part of Microsoft now, so that's all part of that fuckery too, right? So, good Lord. All right. Also, in the realm of questionable decisions, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with Black Ops 7. Because this is the game that they upped the price of Game Pass because they wanted to put this game on Game Pass. And now, guess what folks are noticing? AI-generated art. Now, while nothing is confirmed, it is, of course, getting called out on social media, as these things tend to do, that, hey, look, here's this photo where this cartoon character has 6 fingers, and the eyes don't look quite right.
They also look all like all of the Ghibli, the Studio Ghibli stuff. You know how they have like the AI generative art stuff.
God.
It also it's so weird though because it's Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and it's like some anime styled knights. Like, what does that have to do with anything that's going on in Black Ops? It is literally nothing that has to do with Black Ops whatsoever. It just looks like cheap generated stuff, and I don't think they denied that it.
No, yeah, because
happening.
It actually does have a flag on the Steam page. Our team uses generative AI tools to help develop some in-game assets. And when reached out to Activision, Kotaku sent a note to Activision to ask, like, what's going on? And they responded, quote, like so many around the world, we use a variety of digital tools, including AI tools, to empower and support our teams to create the best gaming experiences possible for our players. Our creative process continues to be led by the talented individuals in our studios. That is a long way of saying, you got me. They got us, gal.
Yeah, there's a difference between using tools like, say, for example, like AI tools that cut the spaces, the blank dead air spaces on a podcast or something like that to edit down the podcast. It's a tool. But if you're using this tool to do all of your work for you, and you're just like, well, my job is to go, yeah, that looks good enough, and then send it on its way. Like, I'm sorry, that doesn't really... It's clear when the art style for
AI
there is no cohesive art style.
AI should be a tool to help to help folks in creating art. AI should not be a replacement for art. And it's very obvious here that the art assets are being replaced with AI generated stuff. Anyway, by the way, it's not just EA. Surprise, surprise. Anno 117 Pax Romana is a game that Ubisoft's been pushing. I mean, do I even need to read the rest of the story? You all know where this is going. You already know. Apparently, generative AI tools were used in the development process. There's a loading screen that apparently appears to be AI-generated imagery that was in the background. And some folks are commenting that, very different from the high-quality background art in the previous game. Apparently, Ubisoft went so far as to say they're going to replace this particular image in an upcoming patch.
Well, why? You're so proud of the work that you put out. Are you saying it's cheap shit and you shouldn't be using AI?
Well,
I thought you were so proud of the AI that you're using.
Well, they put a banner on the store that they're using AI, and this image was a placeholder asset that unintentionally slipped through our review process. The final image is attached here.
That's fucking bullshit. I'm sorry.
It's just Ubisoft doesn't give us a lot of reasons to believe them, so why should we? Sorry.
And you should. No one should believe them.
Moving on. Dark Sakura.
Okay, so there is an anime coming out for Death Stranding Isolations, is what it's called. That's the working title so far, and it will stream on Disney Plus in 2027. That's very early announcement for that, but it's basically just people on adventures in the world of Death Stranding, as far as I can tell. It is produced by Kojima. Director is Sano Takayuki. Character design by Ilya Kuvshinov, and it's being produced by E&H Productions. So it's set in North America, and it's basically people just dealing with their isolation.
Well, yeah, too bad I'm not going to see it because it's Disney Plus and I fucking canceled that service. Hey, you know what else is coming out? Or at least according to Bob Iger, what he wants to do with Disney. You know how all these companies are ripping off all this stuff with AI? He's like, fuck that shit. Why aren't we making money off of that? So he wants to incorporate that shit with your own IP, and so you can generate your own cartoons and shit using Disney IP on their platform. Fuck that shit. And fuck
if they would have run that
Iger.
risk with their intellectual material, then sure, I guess.
What a horrible decision. So how long until the Mickey Mouse porn? That's AI generated over, like, because I'm sure you always say, well, there's plenty of that on the internet, Rob. How often till I can generate it and share it so easily on Disney Plus? It's just silly. Anyway, moving on. Loki, I think you got our next story.
All right. Well, Red Dead Redemption is back again. Now they're going to be doing some updates to the game. They're bringing it out on a few different platforms as well. I think it's now coming to the more modern platforms, Xbox Series S and X and PlayStation 5. They're getting a 60 FPS update, which is good because the game only ran at 30. Enhanced image quality, HDR, and resolutions up to 4K. The Switch 2 version, not going to feature all of the 4K nonsense, but it says DLSS HDR mouse controls. Also 60 FPS, okay. That's a high resolution, not 4K. And, and so that's going to be coming out also on Netflix and on iOS and Androids. I guess it's mobile, too, so you can play it through Netflix. Wow. It's everywhere, but
Netflix has been
right
pushing
around the corner.
Netflix has been pushing the games thing lately. I've been seeing a lot more ads for it. They're really trying to kind of amp that up a little bit.
Right around the corner. December 4th is when that's coming to Netflix. So I don't know when the console versions are going to be getting updated. I don't really care because it's been a while since I played Red Dead Redemption, and if I get it again, it'll be on PC anyways. But it's neat that Rockstar is doing that. Some of they really could use some more games with 60 FPS updates and stuff. Like I could think, like I would love a remaster of Grand Theft Auto 4, please. Can I get that, please? Like that would be amazing.
All right. Well, before we get to the classic game of the week, it's interesting how fast this particular game is becoming a classic games of sorts. Conquered. You remember that? It was, I wouldn't blame you if you didn't, because it was out for a week and then they pulled it and ended up refunding everybody. The game bombed that hard. And, it did lead to discussion among people about, well, why the fuck do we buy these games and then companies can just pull them? You know what? We're going to keep this game alive. And this is wild. The internet, the modding community, at it again. The modding community rebuilt Conquered's back end, created new servers, and apparently there was a YouTube up at one point to show that we're playing through the match. I cannot show that video now because it was taken down due to a copyright claim. So I don't think Sony is really happy about this particular thing, but this is just leading to that, kind of climax here of the players battling back against these game companies who pull the plug on things that fans are trying to support and saying, you know what, that thing you spent your money on, never mind. At least Sony refunded players in this circumstance. It's not like the Crew sort of circumstance where it was up for a year and then it was pulled, but I'm not surprised, and nobody should be, that this kind of happened. And it just also lends itself to that whole, the servers are hard to keep up and expensive. The modders just showed you a way to do it. And I don't know if they have a server or if they did a player-to-player thing or what they did, but however they did it, they got them running without Sony's involvement, which is a huge sort of kick in the butt in a way.
More effort that should have been put into that game.
They did it better than us. We're mad.
Yeah, and kind of. Now, Questbuster does say Sony DMCA'd the gameplay videos on YouTube, but not the project, at least not yet. Well, that's because that's going to be the lawsuit, Questbuster. Just wait till Monday. We'll see what happens. But I kind of want to see something like this go to court. It never will. Even if a lawsuit's filed, these things never go to court. And that's why we are always in this problem, because they are always settled before a judge or at some point the Supreme Court makes a determination. It's always settled. Anyway.
And the reason why a lot of companies insist on settling, right? It's just to make it avoid setting any sort of precedence by going that far.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Because what if whoops, sorry for the noise sneaking in there. I'm setting up something else. What if it were to be that the precedent is set that no, gamers have the right to do this? That could be the gaming. I mean, I think it's a huge win for a lot of people, but I think the gaming industry might see that as a bit of a loss. Anyway. All right. Let's take a trip down memory lane with our next segment.
And now it's time to travel back to a simpler time, where I'll dive into the vault and pull out a classic and tell you about it. It's time for the classic game of the week.
And something I think that folks need to keep in mind with this is that you've only got 2 of these picks left, so you got to make them count, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of where we're going tonight. So
blame Rob for this one, though.
In a way, you got to sign off on it. What is the class?
Yeah, but I wouldn't have even had it on my radar.
All right,
I was gonna do Legendary Wings. Okay.
All right. Well, what is? I think this one's a long time coming. What is the classic game of the week?
It's in the groove. It is a rhythm game developed and published by Roxor Games. It was first shown in a beta test preview on July 9th, 2024, and officially released August 30th, 2024 in arcades. There has been some ports and sequels and stuff, but basically it and everyone thought this too. It is completely biting off of DDR. With your scrolling arrows and you hit the arrows on the top and you have holds and all this stuff and like things that have come out, basically all stuff that came out from DDR. I mean, the game it is a ripoff. I'm just going to say it right now. It's a ripoff. But, you've got your life bar and everything. If you play DDR, you've played this. So, you also, you have different modifiers for speed and all of that. And yeah, I agree with Rinmari. It's a really good ripoff. And of course, Seer in chat, formerly a Konami employee, saying that being in office when the PS2 release came out was wild. But yeah, there's like the different game modes. You have like your normal dance mode. You have a marathon mode where you have extended play. Battle mode is your versus play. And when this first came out, there were 76 songs that were available. Some were exclusive for PC and Mac, and a name we all know quite well, Kyle Ward, was their in-house musician and composed many of the songs. So moving a little bit on, yes, there were home versions. We had a PS2 release on June 17th, 2025, published by Red Octane. And it had a novice mode that went into In the Groove 2. Liquid Moon was a playable track, and 4 songs that were going to show up in the sequel. There was a PC version that had 3 songs from the canceled In the Groove 3, widescreen aspect and edit mode, a patch called Song Pack A that released the additional songs and themes from In the Groove 2. And you can progress through the game by clearing certain songs and modifiers and courses and different things to make it through the game. Yeah, and Rinmari points out Stepmania X is basically In the Groove 3. So here was, and this is where I said it's a ripoff. Konami basically filed a lawsuit against Roxor Games on infringement. This was on May 9th, 2025 in Texas. And they amended their complaint on July 1st, 2025 to include MC Groove's Dance Craze by Mad Cats. And they basically were... Huh?
I was just, oh God, I barely remember that, but yeah.
Yeah. But basically saying that Roxor infringed on their patent rights, and that they were retrofitting arcade cabinets in an infringing and unfair way. That's the quote. And then they amended their complaint to include the In the Groove PS2 game and Red Octane. So on July 25th, Roxor, that's in 2025, filed a counterclaim against Konami, where they denied the claims of the complaint, saying that In the Groove does not violate patent law and claiming that Konami had engaged in unfair competition. They eventually settled. On October 18th, Roxor announced that Konami had acquired the intellectual property rights to In the Groove series as part of the settlement up to litigation. And they would later go on to create Pump It Up Pro, which is a spinoff of Pump It Up that features music and some of the features of In the Groove. Of course, we also know Pump It Up as the 5-button arrow smasher. So it was built in a PC system called Boxor that ran a heavily modified version of Debian Linux. It has a standard IDE hard disk, single core 32-bit processor. They favored the AMD Athlon or the Intel Celeron, 128 megabyte NVIDIA GeForce FX 5200 graphics card. I mean, now thinking of that.
Cutting edge.
Right. And 512 megabytes of DDR RAM. They're so ripping off DDR that it's DDR RAM. So anyway, the upgrade kits were for Dance Dance Revolution machines, and they had a special I/O board called ItGeo that made a JAMA connection to the machine. And they were using a proprietary fork of Stepmania to run the game. They did, install their own anti-piracy measures, which I also think is hilarious. they used a serial dongle that prevented the execution of software on an unlicensed computer. And for In the Groove 2, they're the ones that were manufactured by Andamiro. They have BIOS passwords. So going from this is that's really how it went, and In the Groove, it is. At Rana, I did say that their system was called Boxor. So it's complicated. I, to this day, have not played an In the Groove. To this day. I have not played on a Step Mania. To this day. Because, honestly, I did see this as a big, stupid ripoff, and I was very much supporting Konami. I wanted to, and I think I was a little bit more naive then, where I was like, well, supporting the company that makes the games that I love might encourage them that, yeah, there is still a market for it. And I like to think that maybe it was this whole thing that spawned new continuations and expansions upon DDR to where, honestly, it's the survivor today.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going. There's new versions going on. I actually really like the dance stage.
Just real quick, I just want to emphasize something you're saying there, Jamie, because I feel like, in the past, when you look at this show, we all were pretty hard on this game when it came out, because I think we were, hoping that, I don't know if it was that like Konami would, see the light or whatever and so forth. But I really feel like the interview that we did with Kyle Ward, and I don't remember what episode number it was, but it's back in one of the most insightful episodes we've ever done. And I really think for me, it made it very clear that like, you kind of started to say that there is that like, this was sort of one way of showing that Konami's products, like they went more, and it's really like the dance game scene. They want more of that. And Konami wasn't giving it to us. Konami, there was a huge lull between Extreme and Supernova. And for the longest time, we know Konami was not taking risks in that space. So this was sort of the community's answer to give us something where we so many of us wanted something. And Konami in Japan at that time did not want to take that risk. But yeah, it's interesting. And kind of just quickly, as you say there at the end, I think without this, maybe Konami doesn't see where we want more of this in the US. So it's interesting to have that sort of like how it all ended up playing out in the end. It's just interesting. As Shonen Hunter Matt says, episode 596, thank you, was that. And that's in the OL archive that Dark Tetsuya has if you need to. Actually, everything 500 on is still on the server. So you could find 596 still on the server, at least, for another month or two. So anyway, sorry, Dark Sakura, but I just want to underline what you said there because I think it's important. And it's also important to say, I think that our thoughts behind it have changed a lot from where they were 1,000 episodes ago.
I still don't think I'm going to play it. I've made it this long now. It's spite.
Well, I don't think you can at this point. It's very difficult.
I've seen machines here and there, but I mean, it's just like, what's the point?
Yeah, I played it. It's fine. Like,
it's DDR but theftier.
Again, I think the Rob in 2025 views that game through a different lens than the Rob of 2005. So it's one of those things where I go, it is what it is, and I understand how we got here. I, too, am frustrated that Konami was not putting out a lot of dance games at the time, but it was that home version was their biggest mistake. That they never should have done that, because that's the one part where Konami was leaning into. They were still making Xbox versions and PS2 versions and all that everything. That's where they made their mistake, but they know that now. And we heard about the patents of the arrows and the way that works and stuff, and that not everything is potentially easy to make in the same genre. But now look at where Step Maniacs, or sorry, I can never pronounce that game. Step Maniacs is at now. It's a pretty darn good dance game. Honestly, I have played that, and it's a lot of fun. So
I just dance. I don't need arrows. I do need lots of choreography, though.
Yes, but if you didn't use arrows at one time, we would have never met. So don't forget your past.
Hey, I remember our whole big thing was we were going to play Para Para.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
remember?
That's right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Those were the days.
Yep.
Hey, everyone, did you know that OLR was born on a train?
Yeah, on the BART. BART.
Yep, on the BART.
With my ex, where I have no idea where he is, by the way. If he's still out there, so if he came around, like, you can say hi. Like, I'm like, is he alive? I honestly don't know, which is a weird thing to think, but I've tried looking Facebook and all that stuff.
Orange, right? Also, the Para craze has basically died. There hasn't been a Para club to my knowledge. Like, I think Velfar closed in about 7 years ago or more, maybe.
Closed a long time ago, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Eurobeat's still going, but the Para craze is gone.
All right.
They got therapy. It's no longer a craze.
I think that's it, right? That's it for the classic game?
Yeah.
All right, in the groove, classic game of the week. One more left, and we will have a classic game next week, and Dark Soccer's under a lot of pressure to pick a good one, but I may have some insight, and I think y'all will be pleased. So,
oh, you know what it is.
I do. But I think y'all will be pleased.
You do.
All right. But again, it's one of those games where I'm like, we didn't already oh, okay. All right. Until then, let the theorying begin.
Maybe I was saving it.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Anyway, let's do some rapid fire news. Hit some other headlines real quick here. We still have a lot of news to get into. Loki is muted.
Yes, we do. We are muted. We have some more Lego stuff coming, and I'm excited about it. So we've already gotten one set in the Legend of Zelda series. They had the whole Dooku tree, and now we're going to be getting more as a tease that was put out by Nintendo of America, announcing that Build the Legend coming in 2026. So it looks like we're getting another Link and Zelda minifigs, as well as a Ganon build. So that looks pretty cool. No word on what the sets are going to be. I'm sure that we'll find out as we get closer to that time.
All right. Yay, Legos. More toys for adults. All right. Darsakra.
So, and this is actually a game I was considering playing for one of my retro games, was Doshin the Giant. It came out for 64 Double D and GameCube. And now it's going to be heading for this isn't the one that's heading toward the Switch. It's just from games from the creator. Well, that sucks. Tale of the Sun and Aquanauts Holiday both came out on PS1, and these are reviewing the titles for a preservation project. And these looks like they're going to be coming out. Hold on. I think I misread this. Okay, no, they're reviving them for this preservation project. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I saw Doshin the Giant, and that's all I was focusing on.
I know,
I love
but it's
Doshin
just
the Giant.
But it's other,
misleading. Article is misleading.
Same brain though.
But anyway, there's no release confirmed for Western audiences, but it could happen.
All right. And
no, Brad, it's not Naughty Bear.
This is don't tell them all the no's, or they'll figure out the yes. All right.
I think I've already done Naughty Bear, haven't I?
I don't think you have.
Oh Lord.
Maybe I don't know. Check the wiki. Someone check the wiki. All right. Anyway, this is a real small thing, but if you care, Nintendo launched a new website so you can see what Switch games are working without issues on the Nintendo Switch 2. But some games like Nier Automata, the End of Yora Edition, don't quite function properly on Switch 2. So there are some games, if you want to check that out. It is, I can't believe the name of this website. You ready? Switch-software-compatibility.nintendo.com. I think Nintendo needs one of those URL shortener sites, but switch-software-compatibility.nintendo.com. And if you want the English version, /en-us. Why don't I put that link in chat? And if you're on the podcast, you're just going to have to rewind and write that down. But no, you can also probably just Google it. It's the Switch software website, which I'm curious, do the Just Dance games work pretty well? I guess, let's see. Just Dance 2019, supported. Just Dance free experience, supported, and game behavior is consistent with Nintendo Switch. And then what about Baila Latino? I didn't even know they did a spin-off game. That's kind of cute. Support. Oh, it's a different company. It's not Ubisoft. Ooh, someone like ripped off Just Dance to make a Latin American version of that. Actually, that's actually kind of smart. So, all right. Yeah, I'm with Deft. It would be neat if the site would say if the game has any sort of upgrade and not just compatibility. There is a little more they could do with that database info, but it is what it is for now, and it's official. So there is that. All right. One more time. Let's travel around the world and check out some release dates. I don't know if we'll do this next week or not. So let's
time.
Let's see what else coming out. Dark Sakura. Or no, not Dark Sakura. Loki. Let's
I can go first if I want to.
No,
I'm kidding.
No, let's do Loki. Loki, what's coming out in the US?
We have quite a few things. The Berlin Apartment on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox. We've got 4 Strike on PC and Nintendo Switch. Resident Evil Survival Unit on iOS and Android. Kingdoms of the Dump on PC, Mac, and Linux. I love that name. Marvel's Deadpool VR on Quest 3 and Quest 3S. Morsels on PC, Mac, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide on PC, Nintendo Switch 2, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Squirrel with a Gun on Switch 2. Demon's School on PC, Mac, and Linux, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series. Astroneer on PlayStation 5. Demeo and Dungeons & Dragons Battlemarked on PC and PlayStation 5. Kirby Air Riders on Switch 2. Neon Inferno on PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series. Outlaws and a Handful of Missions Remaster. We've got PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. R-Type Delta HD Boosted on PC, Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Stalker 2, Hearts of Chernobyl on PlayStation 5. And One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 on Switch 2, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Terrifier, the arcade game on PC, Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. That's it.
All right. Let's mispronounce some Japanese titles one more time. Here we go. On the Nintendo Switch 2 this week in Japan, we have SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide is getting released in Japan on November 18th. Hades 2 does get a Nintendo Switch 2 edition in Japan on the 20th of November. But I'm thinking most of you will be checking out... Well, actually, Hades 2 is pretty bomb, so maybe you will be checking that out. But you're probably also checking out Kirby Air Riders. I think it's probably the big title in Japan and really the world this week, also on the 20th of November. And if you want some Kirby accessories to go with your Kirby game...
Gimme.
They got you. So,
Gimme.
Deft, watch your wallet, Deft. Watch your wallet. You might want to glue that down to the desk, Deft. All right, don't spend money importing things. On the PlayStation, same for you, Jamie. PlayStation 5, SpongeBob SquarePants also out there. R-Type Delta HD Boosted. Ooh, I may have to say Dark Soccer should get that because R-Type's a pretty great series.
I already have R-Type Delta though. I have the original.
But do you have HD Boosted?
Do I need it?
It's HD and boosted.
But it's boosted. And there's an HD boosted R-Typers edition, which comes with, I think, a soundtrack. And there's a premium edition, which comes with a soundtrack. Oh, postcards, I think, as well. Art in progress. All the bullshit you could possibly want. And a box. A box, Star Soccer, a box. Maybe Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl is a little more up your alley. Also out on the 20th of November. And that is it for the Japanese releases this week. How about the UK, Dark Sakura?
Some stuff. So on the 17th for PC, we have Dungeons and Kingdoms. For PC and Switch, we have 4 Strike. We have Sheepards on PC, Liminal City, Peace Island, Unmourned, Solo Leveling, Arise Overdrive. For Switch, we have Indica. We have, for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, The Berlin Apartment. We have Marvel's Deadpool VR for the MetaQuest and 3DS on the 18th. Morsels for PS5, Xboxes, Switch, PC. Sectori for, looks like the same except Switch. Desert Race Adventures for Switch and PC. Kingdoms of the Dump for PC. Orflux for PC. We have A Better World for PC and Mac. A game that actually I have for real pre-ordered, a pinball game that makes you mad for PC. It is also for Mac. There's a Mac version. News Tower PC. Actually, no, there might not be. No, there is. Sorry, Squirrels with a Gun for Switch 2. I don't know why people are still playing that game. SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide for PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, PC. On the 19th, Asbury Pines for PC, Duskpunk for PC, Demon School for PS5, PS4, Xbox, Switch, PC, Kirby Air Riders for Switch 2 on the 20th November, Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, it's not Chernobyl, weird, Chernobyl on PS5, Cleared Hot for PC, Xenopurge for PC, Prologue Go Way Back for PC, Saboris for PC, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, Hades 2 physical copy for Switch 2, Demio Cross Dungeons and Dragons Battlemarked, PC, PS5, PSVR 2, MetaQuest on the 20th, R-Type Delta HD Boosted for Switch, PlayStation, Xbox's PC. Outlaws plus Handful of Missions Remaster, PC, Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. Tingus Goof. It almost sounds so much like they're saying dingus. For the 20th. Effulgence RPG for PC. Bleach Soul Resonance, iOS, Android on the 21st. Following Seas for PC. Military Incremental Complex for PC. Cats vs. Rats for PC. Retrace the Light for PC. Terrifier the Arcade game for Steam, Switch, PS5, Xboxes, and Japanese Driftmaster for Xboxes on the 21st.
Like Art the Clown, Terrifier? There's an arcade game for Terrifier?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a beat 'em up. Like, you know how they were doing like those like 8-bit beat 'em ups? Well, this is more like a 16-bit beat 'em up.
Oh, you know what? I think I did see something for that. Okay.
Yeah, they're doing that.
Makes a lot more sense.
It looks like Splatterhouse.
Okay. Of course.
It reminds me a little bit more of a gory version of the Scott Pilgrim game.
Okay.
Gotcha, Fifth Dream.
All right. Well, we have one more story, and it's a follow-up, and this is one of those things where I'll be very curious to see how this plays out, but I think we knew this was coming. Loki, tell us the punchline.
So apparently, after the 31 developers were fired from Rockstar Games, the union representing the former employees has decided to file a lawsuit. So now they are moving forward with legal claims against the company, asserting that the firings constitute trade union victimization and blacklisting. And, it says, despite our representation and attempts to meet with Rockstar to resolve the matter through negotiation, Rockstar have declined and persisted to terminate members of the union in a matter that is unacceptable and unlawful. Accordingly, we have now issued formal legal claims against Rockstar on behalf of the claimants. So we'll see how this all pans out. Of course, Rockstar is confident that they're in the right, but of course they're always going to assert that. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think it's a bold claim to say that they were leaking information. They would have to have evidence of that, I would imagine. So, in order to say that the firings based off gross negligence are accurate. Also, because we haven't really even seen any of these recent leaks or whatever. I don't know. I'd be curious to see what's going on with that.
Well, you say lawsuit, and I hear that's what you get when you let your... Forget it. All right. Well, I mean, we knew it was coming. But it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. It'll get settled, of course, because, again, nothing ever actually ends up in a court. So we'll see what happens with that. We're going to get to the listener roundtable. Darsakra, though, I think you told me you had something you want to bring up.
I do, actually. It's I guess a little last minute thing.
Sure.
But wait, what is the date on this wrong?
Uh-oh.
Well, no, the date that they put on it is a future date, but they don't say the year. So never mind. This might not be. Nope. Nope. This says that it's recent. So
okay, now
I hate when. Yeah, this is this year. Okay. I hate when they do stuff like that and they get their dates wrong. There's a Danganronpa 15th anniversary festival, Ultimate Appreciation Festival. They are doing a at the Belsal Tokyo Nihonbashi. This is happening November 29th from 10 to 6:45 Japan time, and they will be streaming the events on YouTube. It will have a Danganronpa 2x2 playable demo, an exhibition era, and Seeger better go to this and take me lots of pictures.
I was going to say, is Seeger still going to be in Japan? Because this is right up his alley.
There's an exhibition era. Oh, no.
Oh, he says, I'm so
photo
salty.
Spot,
I forgot to apply for a ticket.
Merchandise corner, stage events. I want to go. So I guess I'll be watching YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the 2x2 demo is definitely new. So this is a new. Yeah, so that's cool. Fun.
Yeah.
All right. Listener roundtable. I don't know if we got emails this week. I don't know if I saw
We
any.
did.
Oh, we did. Good. Let's get to them.
Okay.
I guess I'll say the email one more time for next week. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com is the place to send those emails. And then after next week.
I know of one we're getting next week, by the way.
Okay, but I just want to be very clear. After next week's show is done, I am deleting that mailbox so that all those spammers can get fucked, because we get a lot of spam.
Don't delete it until I have a chance to download all the emails out of it.
Okay, well, I'm not literally a minute after, but a week or two after, that mailbox is getting nuked. And if you want to contact us, you can do it so directly. We're not hard to find. So we're all on social
Basically,
media.
the important mailbox is the one I need an archive of.
Yeah, so we'll figure that out. Anyway, but let's get to the email tonight.
All right. So, hello, OLR crew. This is your friendly neighborhood Mexican, Mike Deft. I could talk about so many things right now, but I want to write and thank you all for the years of being every Sunday and sharing your time with us each week. I just want to talk about something that Rob was talking about in the previous episode about it being hard to give up on something or let go. He probably already knows that, and he's also not alone in that aspect. I personally had my own struggles, and I do with my own projects, like my podcast, GFM Cast. It started in 2016 and ended quite abruptly in 2023, but it ended more because of real life situations at that time that affected all of the hosts. But in the end, it was my decision to end it, despite my hosts kind of wanting to continue with it, but they still agreed with GFM Cast ending. We could probably turn to record the podcast again, but also not getting views or new listeners each week is something that unmotivated me personally. That being said, I don't regret making GFM Cast, and I don't regret my decision to end it. Every single episode was great, and I enjoyed the time with my friends and chatting about whatever we had in mind that week. But I'm also glad I finally have a full weekend to do whatever I want. I don't miss any Pokemon Go events or having to cancel an episode because of it. I had some shackles on me, and now I'm free. So when the announcement came in, I was obviously surprised, but at the same time, I wasn't sad. I was actually kind of glad, not for us, the listeners. We'll still miss listening to OLR each week, whether live or through podcasts, but for you guys and gal. Loki can focus more on his Minecraft videos and streams. Jamie can push making further strides in her streaming career, not to mention her not-so-secret project. And Rob can just live life. That's what I did. So don't worry. You all have a great time and enjoy life however you please. You don't owe us an explanation, and we can only thank you again for every moment you gave us. Of course, this ain't the end. We'll still talk or chat to each other through whatever means we can, and we'll support whatever new projects you are working on. We'll see each other around, and I wish you the best. Sorry if this was a long rambling nonsense, but that's what I get for writing an email during the live episode and after 2 full days of playing Pokemon Go.
Fuck that event in Pokemon Go, by the way. I got 12 shinies across 2 days. That's like,
oh, Rob.
I got but in like playing 2 hours of a community day, I can get as many shinies. At least I got 2 unknowns, and I love unknowns. It's probably one of my favorites. So at least there's that. But anyway, thanks for the email. And I really do appreciate the words. To be clear, one thing I am going to lean into, because you kind of said Rob can rest. I don't know if I'll be resting completely. I mean, for this year, yes, I will be resting completely. When next year starts, my live show stuff that I do, it is picking up next year. We're adding a new venue next year. I know that I have a show in January that's going to be going, and I'm looking to try to expand that further. So it's a bummer that's not going to be as accessible on the internet. But my hope is someday I'm doing conventions so cool that I'm coming to a town near you. That's the dream. But I will be leaning a little more into my live event thing. So if you're kind of wondering, like, what's Rob doing with his time? Number one, I'll be resting on Sundays, but where I can, there'll be the occasional live event and doing that sort of thing. So that's what it is. And as I mentioned, I'll still be an individual contributor here at VOG and trying to, outside of the shows, we don't have a lot of meat on the website or on the YouTube right now. So I'm going to see what I can do about that, because that's something I can do on a timetable that works for me. So there you go. But I do appreciate the words. I really do. And I think, yeah.
Oh, no, keep going.
I was going to say, I think this is just going to be, an evolution into a future that's not as gloomy as it seems. So,
well, and I'm making a big announcement next week for what's going to happen. But yeah, I am really trying to get into my streaming, and I'm going to be splitting my time between my streams and ballet and the project that I hope people will be happy about. That's all I can say about it.
All right.
Because I don't do it just for us. We do it for all y'all too.
All right. Are there any other emails or just the one?
Just the one.
All right.
But I know that we're getting one next week from a certain somebody.
Well, thank you, Deft, first, and thank you to certain somebody for making sure we don't go without on our last episode. But thank you, Deft, for sending that. Really appreciate it. And really appreciate you. Deft, you have been here a very long time. I know it isn't since episode 1, but like maybe it was 100, 200. I don't know. It was before All Games, right? What episode did we merge with All Games? That was around 200 or 300, right? I feel like you were here before that. But anyway, I know it's been a very, very long time, and I really appreciate the perspective that you've brought, Deft, because sometimes it's easy to have the blinders on being in the States and just, walking into a superstore like a Target or a Walmart. Yeah, just humor me for a minute here. I know there's lots of talks about where do we shop right now, but, walking into a store and seeing the games on shelves, and it's a very different environment when you are in Mexico and, it's not necessarily as easy to walk into a gaming store and buy everything. Although it is ironic that finally, after all these years, I did go into a gaming store in Mexico at one point when I was in, I think it was Puerto Vallarta, when I was on my cruise a couple of years ago. But I always have appreciated getting to hear that other perspective, and it sort of challenges us to not be so, and this is not shade, this is love. Other podcasters could really use this to remember that not everything is US centric. The world does not operate US centric. And it's really interesting to see what impact that has on other countries and so forth. So I always appreciate that perspective. Oh. All right. We have a phone call coming on Discord. So I would love to bring this person on. I know, right? Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hey, it is SSJ Manager Matt.
Hey, Matt, it is so good to hear from you. How are you?
Hi.
I'm doing all right. Figured, next week is going to be pretty call busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I imagine we're going to probably get a lot of old listeners, maybe not. But I'd like to call in towards the end of this show to kind of just talk, catch up, just talk with everybody and just, do I have video going?
No, we're not getting. Oh,
now you do.
Now we do.
There we go.
Now let me switch to the shot with
see
video.
A pupper.
Gosh darn it! Why does? Okay,
please
I will
boop
fix the
that
shot.
Puppy's nose for me.
Hold on, I gotta fix the shot so we can actually see Matt. Oh, not that shot. Let's go this way. Anyway, while I fix things live, as I have to tend to do on this program, well, I appreciate you calling in. You've been with us a very long time, Matt, and I appreciate your friendship and, participation in the show for a very long time, and can always count on you to leave a bad pun in chat, especially when Drew hasn't been around lately. So I appreciate that. So yeah, I agree with Bobby in chat. Stupid Discord not letting you drag people's windows around. That part, I feel that very strongly. Anyway, I wanted to use this opportunity, Matt. You've sent us a couple of bleats over on Blue Sky that I thought were really fucking funny. So I thought I would read some of those for the listeners who maybe haven't heard these yet. So this one says, did you know Orange Lounge Radio started its record run with its first episode on June 23rd, 2002. Later that same week, a young wrestler made his debut on June 27th, and his name is John Cena. John Cena's final match happens in December. Orange Lounge Radio finale will be November 23rd. Well, how about that? We made John Cena quit our impact. Just kidding. I'm kidding. That's pretty incredible. John Cena got movies, though. Also, an OLR, did you know, if you add up every existing episode, including specials of OLR's record run, it's 2,742 hours, 14 minutes, and 44 seconds worth of content, thanks to the OL archive. Although your autocorrect screwed you up there, but that's right. If you were to listen if you were to listen to every episode nonstop, it would take you 114 days, 6 hours, and 15 minutes. That's wild.
No wonder I'm tired.
And then, well, and what's also funny about that, I don't think last week's show was up yet when you pulled that number. So between last week, tonight, and if next week was a little, if we don't cross 2750, we'll be really close. 2750 hours, I bet we'll end up at by the time this all said and done. Maybe it'll be close. It'll be close. So. Thank you for the stats. Those are fun to dive into.
Yeah, you know what? So the reason why I did that was like I was stuck late at work, and I was like trying to think. It's like, well, you know, like what are some like fun things? Because there was a show that I really liked called Sports Science or something along those lines, where they had like, you know, they did the science of a lot of sports stuff, and I thought about like, oh, what are some fun OLR facts? So it's like. I was looking at some of that, and the John Cena thing. It's like, oh, that's fun. That's a fun. And the hours thing, I was kind of like, huh. I wonder, like, if and what I didn't write in the bleat was, what if someone were to walk from New York City to LA, just listening to OLR nonstop? How many trips would that take? And thanks to AI. It came up with it 1.5 loops.
Wow. You could walk the whole way between New York and LA and part of the way back. I wonder what would happen if you threw in all the extra shit over the years. Like, I mean, like, not that you can really count Horde House, but that was like 180 episodes. Loki.
I mean, there was a bunch of episodes there. I think some of the things that I kind of threw in there that were on the archive.
Okay.
Were like
old episodes of Dark Soccer's Pump Up the Volume. That was Once Upon a Time. That's kind of
what my stream sort of is now, because I just play music in the background.
Yeah, it's funny.
I mean, like if we had like things like Outside the Box or USL on there, it'll be. But anyways, no, it's just like, you know, like I fell down a rabbit hole. I have a couple other things that I kind of thought of that I haven't written up. Maybe I'll do that on a fun call next week.
Okay.
Afterbirths, yeah. But no, but you know, like what I wanted to say, kind of back off of Def C. I really started listening back in like, I guess 2003, and at the time, like I moved out, go to college in Arizona. Like I didn't really have like any friends, any community, nothing. But like I had just gotten into DDR before I left for college, and I found you guys thanks to DDR Free, and you know I've just stuck around, and you know, I think we've talked about like legacy before, and like the kind of like the things that this show has kind of left behind. You know, like a lot of people have been inspired by the show. So, a lot of fun experiences, a lot of fun jokes that we've come up with over the years, but you know, like we may not have had the biggest audience. I don't mean we, like I'm not part of the show, but like, you know,
you are, but yeah,
may not have broken a ton of news or been quoted on any of the major news sites, but you know, like,
there was the Katamari thing.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. But like, you know, like I would argue that we have one of the better communities.
I agree. Sometimes there are downsides about being a huge show, and this has been a really cool community, and it's really appreciated. And I've appreciated you being here as long as you have, and that's really neat. And a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but even though this show, I kind of say it was a spin-off of sorts of Understation Live, that's no secret. Travis taught me that any idiot could podcast, and I say that lovingly. And this show went, and then Travis moved to Texas, so I no longer participated in the show regularly, as I kind of went into this more often. But you hosted Understation Live for a minute, because I remember Travis did
for a month.
That whole like be a co-host for a month or so. I thought it was a year. Be a co-host for a month, and then you won that contest. You got to co-host with him for a little bit. So it's funny how things are full circle like that. So you are. I
even came into podcasting because of Understation, not just as a spinoff, but I was filling in. I quote filling in for Jessica.
Yeah, nobody ever tell that man's ego I said this, but we're all a part of the Donovan cinematic universe. So it is.
So here's a question. so is OLR going to end with Rob waking up and Travis coming out of the shower like in Dallas?
If I could get him to do that, I would die. I
was thinking it was going to be like Newhart.
Unfortunately,
okay.
No.
Okay.
I just to set the hopes. I have not heard from Travis or that. I probably should just send a message and invite him to come on the last show if he would like, because but he may say no, and that's okay. He is enjoying retirement, and I will also be thankful to Travis. It's not just this. But also Dragon Con obviously, yes, Bobby was a huge part of that too, with it being in his backyard, but it was Travis that said, fucking come, I have a room, you can stay in it, you are now out of excuses, and got me to start down that path. So, and then I was like, why didn't you ever tell me about this? This is a lot of fun. So, but anyway, I will say Rama put together something a little cute for the final episode. So please look forward to it.
Oh, of course. And the show may be ending, but me, I'm kind of one of your guys' good cheerleaders. I will, always support whatever you guys are doing. Either way. And, everybody's I would first thought it was a sad thing, but it's I think I made the comment or that's this is the house that we all kind of used to hang out at, play video games, make dick and fart jokes, and the house is being sold.
That's right.
But the thing is, we're not far away, all just down the street.
And I think
the address may change.
And I think I replied to you with a clip from the last episode of Hannah Montana where she's walking out of the house and it goes, yeah. As she's looking through the door. Right. And I was like, there it is. That's the last episode. So, I love that analogy. And it is that, again, we're not dying. And part of the reason we're doing this now, or at least I'm doing this now, is that this way it is our control, because there have been too many close calls in the past where it might not have been. So this allows us to have this nice little on-ramp of, 2 months of episodes and time to figure out what's next and all this stuff, and kind of do this on our own terms, as opposed to something or someone else making that decision for us. So and we will all have projects you can continue to follow, and we will all still be following all of you. Because many of you have done spin-off projects. As an example, Rama and Anime Jam Session. And somebody opened their mouths last week and hinted that maybe Rama's a part of what's coming up next. So, obviously, it's great to be able to follow that sort of thing. I've seen Spike and Slag Kick in chat tonight, and love those guys and appreciate their support over time. And I'm a big fan of the GameBuoy.org video game podcast, and love the work that those guys are doing. So, proud parents will be watching you out there, not in a creepy way, but we'll be watching you do your thing and cheering you on. And we'll all have our own things. Jamie will tell you more next week. Matt's got a YouTube, and maybe we'll open that up a little more.
He does. See.
That's up to him.
I didn't know.
And, even though mine's live hosting, is still, if you're ever in the area, come check out a show, and hopefully some more YouTubes in the future, and that sort of thing. So things I can do in 5 minutes.
I got nothing, but I will, of course, be in chat and call when I can.
You've got funny puns, insights, comments, and stats. Stat porn.
I try. You know what? I've always kind of tried to like call in as much as I can. The thing is, like, I have such performance anxiety, even like right now. But it's like, it's funny. It's stupid.
Yeah,
like,
there's nothing.
But you know, I've known you guys for over 20 years.
I know.
It's like, it's silly. But you know, like, I've enjoyed the time here, and you know, like, I look forward to the future. And you know what? Like, if anyone ever wants to like listen to old OLR episodes, we have the archive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like nothing's gone forever.
That's right. Nothing's gone forever.
It's like in physics. Nothing goes away, it just changes.
And I will hope I can see you if I ever come back to New York. I know you don't live in that area anymore. You moved up, you know, married life moved you away, right? So you're not as close as you used to be.
I'm closer to Canada. But the thing is, like, I don't mind driving.
Okay.
It's a 4-hour drive for me.
Well, that's not that bad.
If any of you guys are coming to New York,
that's I'm gonna tell you,
you guys are worth a drive.
I'm gonna tell you, I said I'm not gonna go until they have some stuff on Broadway that I really want to see again. And now that Cat's Jellicle Ball is coming to Broadway,
what?
Let me tell you. Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, the Cat's Jellicle Ball is going to Broadway. So I want to see that, and I want to see. There's another musical. Well, the Romeo and Michelle's being made a musical. But I know you're there, Rama, but you're not the one on the phone right now. Yes, I'll see you too. I will see all the OLR listeners who want to hang out when I'm out there, and I still would love to get back to MagFest. Don't get me wrong. It's a really bad time of year that they do that thing.
Oh, it is.
So you know, but never say never. So yeah, I'd love to get out to another con out there at some point. So.
I don't know that I want to see that.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Because it's not the original.
Oh no, it's not the original. Oh no, it's the it's infused with the 90s Vogue scene, which
I don't want to hear about anybody not liking cats. Do not tell me. Do not say so in my presence. I will plot.
I am excited to see a take on it from a culture that's finally getting its flowers all these years later. Because Drag Race has ripped it off in many, many different ways. I think it's really exciting. So I want to see the fusion of those types of things. So anyway,
my dog is afraid of cats.
What's that?
My dog is afraid of cats.
Well, that's different.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, anyway, Matt, any other thoughts you want to get out before we say goodnight?
No, I just want to thank you guys. And like, I'll do a quick call next week. Cause you know, like there's going to be a lot of us calling. So like,
that's okay.
I'll have something very quick, but you know, like what I do want to do right here, right now is I have my dog right here for the podcast list. Ben, can you do me a favor? Can you wave? Wave? Just wave. Just wave to OLR. Boy.
Oh my gosh, he did like a
good
little
dog.
looked like an air high five. It was super cute. Good dog. You give that dog extra treats from us.
Oh, he's getting boiled chicken. He's terrible, but
chicken.
He loves it.
All right. Well, you should call that dog Leroy Jenkins.
Midnight gets duck liver.
He loves liver as well.
I know about spoiled.
All right,
Pupper.
Matt, it has been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to continuing to talk to you. You know, this is just one stop on the journey. So until next time, all right?
Take care, guys.
All right, take care, buddy.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
A pleasure to hear from Matt on the show tonight. And yes, the phones will be open next week. We may have to put a time limit on depending on how many. I'm actually not expecting it's going to be that. I know it sounds like humble. I don't think it's going to be a windfall of people next week, but I look forward to who's here. What? What?
I took Monday off.
Oh, did you really?
I did. I absolutely did.
I didn't, but it's Thanksgiving week, and I'm like, that's going to be my pet project, catching up on things I'm trying to get done in the workplace week. So I'm all right with that.
I don't think I'm going to be able to concentrate, to be honest. Plus, then the Sunday after that, I have my subathon to help make up for what I spent at TwitchCon.
Perfect. I think plans are coming together for my first Sunday off, but I don't know for sure, so I won't say anything until probably next Sunday itself. But yes, I am planning on a mini trip. We'll say that much. Mini trip, not a big trip, but a mini trip. So
I actually do have a new Sunday event that's going to happen come December. Is I am starting a new ballet class that's all stretching for ballet. So I think it'll be interesting. Feeling motivated.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, are there any other last minute stories tonight, Loki? No?
No.
I think we hit on all the big stuff. All right. Well, we're at the end of the show, and this is where I would usually say, help us spread the word, tell everybody. And, that is all still true. But I guess this week it would be help us find the people that used to listen to this show and let them know.
Bring them back.
Next week is
and
the last show.
And we still have a backlog.
Yeah. Next week is the big OLR, the final. Really look forward to seeing you all here and doing this one more time for you. We'll let all the sappy stuff out next week, but it's really, obviously been a pleasure over these last 23 and a half years and continued in a new form. So until we get to that point next week, we wrap up this week. So Dark Sakura, I'm assuming you're streaming as usual tonight. Do you have a final thought or a final thing to say?
I have things that I want to say. You have to wait for next week.
All right. Well, have a good stream. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Loki, that takes us to you. Your final thought tonight.
My final thought is that I hopefully will have my new streaming series ready to go by the time I'm available to start streaming again.
All right. Nice. I love that. If you're going to have more time for streaming and stuff, be good.
Mm-hmm.
My final thought is, it's a little surreal that I'm saying see you next week for the final episode, but it's going to be okay. It's been a long journey, but this is the next fork in the road that's going to lead to some awesome things for everybody. So, we'll see you next week for the big finale. That's all I got. Until then, have a great night, everybody. Bye.
You've been listening to Orange Lounge Radio. Orange Lounge Radio is a production of OLR Studios. To join us for our live show, tune in to VogNetwork.com Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff of Orange Lounge Radio nor Vog Network, but they were all still true. See you next week.